What's up, Biscuit fans? Welcome to this great episode of the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I thought I'd say a few words before we get into this episode. I'm going to dedicate this episode to a good friend of Shrewsbury's, who we sadly lost this weekend, and that's Timothy King. A lot of people will know Tim King. He's been very supportive of events and people that create and make and do things in the town and the county. He has run and organised the cartoon festival for years, and very recently brought the Beatles to Shrewsbury for the Beatles weekend. I was lucky enough to work with Tim a couple of times whilst we've been doing the biscuit, and I was really saddened to hear this tragic news because of how supportive and how kind he was to us at the biscuit. You know, he's very, very supportive, loving guy. I want to send my commiserations and my love to his family and friends. He will be dearly missed, and I'm going to dedicate this episode to Tim. Hope his family don't mind. It's really late at night, and it's the evening before we release this podcast. I thought I would do this. I felt it was the right thing to do. He will be missed. This episode is featuring Birgitta Zoutman, and it's a lady I've been trying to get on the show for a while. It was before the lockdown happened. Me and her were talking about putting something together because of an exhibition she'd put on at the Shrewsbury Coffee House, and all this happened, and you know what happens. I've got to explain, okay? About 4 minutes into this audio, it goes a bit weird because I lose a bit of connection. I keep facing these internet gremlins that keep coming and ruining my audio. It's driving me insane, but this is the world we live in right now. We have to adapt. But it clears up after a couple of minutes. I didn't want to take this bit of the conversation out of the show simply because I thought it was really nice what she was saying. So just bear with it for a couple of minutes. It's important that I left this into the episode. I hope you enjoy it. Quick note as well before we go into the episode. In a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be doing Shared Biscuits 2. I thought it was a real good success when we did Shared Biscuits with Jane McKenzie last time. And this is a roll call. If you have a poem or a piece of music that you've written that's centered around addiction, mental health, or even if it's just because the lockdown has affected you and this is your way of dealing with it, please send in your work to us. We'll feature it on the show, and if you would like to come on that episode and talk about addiction, mental health, if it's something you've faced or something you do to help professionally, please get in touch. We very much love to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, and here is our episode with Birgitta Zoutman. Enjoy. Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley. Just me today. The Biscuiteers are all doing their things, but I am really happy today to be joined by a lady who I've been trying. I wanted to get on the show for a while, and I'm really gutted actually that we're doing this in the lockdown way via Skype and not at Biscuit Studios, because I love this lady. She's doing great things for across the town. I'd like to welcome Birgitta Zoutman. Thank you very much for joining us. I said that right, okay? I said your name, okay?
No, it's Birgitta.
Oh, Birgitta. Okay, sorry, I do apologise. I am a stickler for names because I get called Alex Whitley all the time, and I know what it's like. So thank you, Birgitta, for joining us. How have you been? You've been very busy.
Yes, it's been a bit insane, really, for lockdown. The first 3 weeks I was really quiet, and then I got very bored. I needed to go out on my bike and take photos, and after that, it kind of went a bit nuts.
It did. I mean, you've done an amazing thing by bringing the community. I mean, Castlefields as a community have always been quite close anyway, haven't they? They've always done amazing things to try and show people that Shrewsbury's got a great community. And
Yeah, definitely.
that mixed with you and your fine talent on photography was a great way of just showing everybody that, look, okay, things aren't normal. It's quite a scary time, but we can all stick together, and that's what you did, and I love that. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
That was really good. That was really cool of you. So let's talk about. We'll get back into that in a sec. Let's talk about you, because I mean, you're not originally from Shrewsbury like myself. You come from.
I was born in Holland, and I moved to England when I was 7. So I've been in Shropshire since I was 7, and Shrewsbury since I was 14.
Wow.
And no, don't have an accent. I lost it, but I still speak fairly fluent Dutch, albeit with an English accent. So.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you've grown up in Shrewsbury. I mean, it's. I quite appreciate the fact that I come to Shrewsbury late on in life, because I've kind of moved around Wrexham, Telford, all around places, different places. But I am gutted that I didn't grow up here, because it's such a great town. What's Shrewsbury sort of taught you about the community, and kind of, because you're very passionate about what you do?
I've made lifelong friendships here.
Yeah.
And there's people that have been part of my family, sort of the English family, if you like, that we made for ourselves when we moved here. So there are, there's one of the ladies that I photographed. She used to babysit me when I was a kid. Another one of my neighbours, she was the first person I photographed their wedding. That was my first wedding. Somebody else I photographed, that was the first paid job I ever did for photography. So yeah, I just like Shrewsbury. It's a very, very nice place to bring up children. I brought my boys up here, and I was speaking to somebody else today how people tend to always come back to Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
You might leave, but you always get drawn back. And I just think we're really lucky. It's a beautiful part of Shropshire to live in.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I can jump on my bike and in 10, 15 minutes be out in the countryside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I'm
a Shropshire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Shropshire guy myself. I mean, I'm from Telford originally. It's a unique community in the fact that it's a good community, if that makes sense. I mean, I've lived in places where I've never really valued, to be honest. I mean, if I'm going to be personally honest, like I don't ever think of Wrexham as where I kind of grew up in my teens and stuff. I never think of that place as somewhere special to me. And that's not me being nasty to Wrexham. It's more of an homage to Shrewsbury. That's kind of like here is where I want to stay. It's fantastic. So your photography, is this something that you've always done as a career?
No, I find photography completely by accident. I mean, I grew up around photographs because my grandfather was always taking photos, and my mom was always taking photos, and quite often she'd have a dark room set up in a house wherever we were living. My uncle's a photographer, so photos were always sort of part of my life in one way or another. And obviously moving countries, the photographs that I had taken with my family when I go visit, or that my family would send to me whilst I was in England, became very important. I was studying textiles at university when I was in my mid-30s, and I had to buy a camera to take pictures of things to draw because I was doing this textile design course. So that's one of the first things I bought with my student loan, was my first DSLR Nikon camera.
Wow.
I know. But my son was diagnosed with autistic traits at the time in my final year. And I was just finding the load of being a single parent and 2 kids and all these special needs appointments and uni. It was too much. So I made the decision to leave university. I was putting my kids first. And I don't ever regret that decision.
No.
But I carried on with my camera. So I would take photographs every day, all day. It's kind of my solace, because when you're taking photographs, you are in that moment. You can't be anywhere else. So it's quite a peaceful place to be behind the lens.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I've always watched. You know, my son jokes that I'm a stalker. I'm always watching for the connection between people. It's what I bring, I think, to my photography when I work for clients. I know that the moments and the photographs that I would want to hold on to. You know, when I used to go home once a year and spend time with my dad before he died, and with my family. And the photographs that I would take then, I would spot the moments with relatives. And so, yeah, I know what I'm looking for when I'm taking photographs of clients. I'm thinking, oh God, yeah, that's the moment that in years to come they'll want in their photo album. They might not know it at the time, but I know it.
That's really good. I mean, we're having a bad connection problem at the moment. I don't know what's going on. I'm really sorry about this.
No, it's okay.
We're mid-conversation and my internet decided just to, every single device in the building was just kind of like, oh, in our place was just like, no. So, where were we? We were talking about your photography and how you like to take pictures for people, knowing what you would like to capture yourself, that sort of empathy, that's how you do things. But that's what you're just saying.
Yeah, empathy is probably the right word, actually. Because I've lived my life away from my family always, only seeing them once a year. I know that photographs of them are very, very precious. And I'm really mean to some of my clients, actually. So they bring their kids into the studio or, at weddings. And quite often parents like, no, don't want to be in the photo. This is just for the kids. And I tell them the story about my dad. So I moved to England when I was 7 and my parents were separated, divorced. And so I grew up only seeing my dad once a year. I have a handful of photographs of my dad and a handful of them of me and him together.
Yeah.
So they're very, very precious. And actually he would have been 69 on Tuesday. And every year I post the same few photographs because I don't have any more. So when my clients come in and they don't want to be in the photographs with their kids, I'm really mean and I say to them, like I said, they're not for you, these photographs. They are for your children in the years to come.
Yeah. Because
they want to be in the photo with them. And they don't care what you look like. They don't care if your hair's a mess or if you're in your pajamas. Be in the photo with your children because they will treasure them in years to come. I know I wish I had more pictures of me and my dad together. So, yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. And it's true. I mean, I when I moved from Wrexham to Telford, I lost everything. I mean, there's a handful of photos of when we were kids. I mean, when I used to look at the pictures when we were kids anyway, I always used to be like, did you not have a camera when I was born? Because I'm a second born, so there's like a million pictures of my older brother Sam and there's like 5 of me. There's more than that, but you know what I mean? And yeah, I lost everything. I lost my ROA from school. I lost all my cadet stuff when I was in cadets, my pictures from when I was a kid. And if I had them now, I'm the same as you. I've got like a handful of like pictures that I will share now and again. It is important because you forget, don't you, with social media, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, that pictures are important, aren't they?
Yes, print them. That's the other thing I would say. I say it to my clients, I can get them printed for you, obviously, but if you don't use me, that's fine. Just make sure you print them and put them somewhere safe.
Yeah,
because they change so fast, and the compatibility changes, and USBs have a certain lifetime of use that you can, there's a limited time that you can access those pictures on a USB. Or so yes, print them, because our devices will not always be compatible with the technology that we've got.
Yeah, I mean, this morning, me and my boy decided to wake up at 5 o'clock this morning. And he lay on my chest, and we were going through like Facebook, the memories. You press the memories, and it comes back all the pictures of this day last year, the year before. And we were looking at videos of him like stumbling around, watching CBeebies when he was a baby, all those sort of things. They're nice memories, but there's nothing better than like sitting down with the family and going through an old photo album and turning over those pages, It's something really sentimental about that, and I appreciate that, and I'm guilty for that as well. And there's a certain stage in my life when I guess I've stopped printing off pictures. We got the odd ones. I mean, my wife likes bare walls. You know, she likes too many pictures, and she's like, "Nope, too many pictures." So we have to like pick the pictures that we want to print off to put on the wall, and then photo albums. I guess we always get photo albums when we go on holidays and things like that, but they go on a bookcase, and you only get them out now and again, don't you? But I think we should go back to that. I think you're absolutely right. Sorry?
Yeah, they had a huge walnut, like big wall units, floor to ceiling, telly in the middle, and all the bottom was full of photo albums from our family, all the way from the late 1800s up until the year they died, so 1994. My favourite thing every year when I went home was to go sit on the floor and go through all these albums and see what new ones were there as well. I miss that. I miss my grandparents.
Yeah.
So, yes, print your photos.
Print your photographs. It's important. And do you know what? This year we've had some very photographable moments. Bad ones, I'd say mainly. It's been quite a bad year, but I mean, as far as documenting these things, the floods, what's going on with the communities, Castlefields with the lockdown. You've been brilliant, and there's a lot of people on Shrewsbury as well that will go out and take pictures and things like that, you know, of what's going on. And what's that been like for you?
It's been an overwhelmingly positive experience, positive even. When the lockdown first happened, about a week before lockdown, I did close my studio. In the studio, I photographed mostly newborns and families. So with everything going on, I didn't feel comfortable, and I was getting cancellation. So it just felt like the sensible thing to do. And I was home initially, and somebody at the beginning of lockdown did send me an article about a lady in America who was doing doorstep photographs, but there was quite a negative backlash in America against this photographer, and it was really very vicious.
Why?
So I was like,
what was the backlash? What was the backlash about?
Social distancing, and whether or not a photographer should be out doing these photographs at this time, you know. But it's also very different in America. I think this lady some of them have been charging and some of them haven't. But in America, they don't have the financial backup that we do have in this country.
Yeah. So,
you know, if you're not working, you're not earning, you know, but it was really quite harsh. And I was admittedly a bit afraid of that. Yeah. I have had a tiny little bit of it, but it's been an overwhelmingly positive experience. So I've been home for 3 weeks. I'm not ashamed to admit I struggle with my mental health. So I was recently diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to terms with how that affects my working life, my home life. And I have struggled with depression and anxiety. And going out on my bike and taking photographs has always been sort of the solace. It's been helpful for me to be in the moment rather than focusing on what is going on in my head. And so after 3 weeks of the lockdown, I decided, right, I need to get out on my bike. Come on. And it was a beautiful Easter Saturday. And I went through the quarry. Me and Katie Rink, the editor of My Shrewsbury, have been trying to get together.
She's ace. I love her. She's great.
She's lovely. She's very supportive of all that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to have a meeting for weeks and weeks and weeks, and lockdown, I bump into her in the quarry, and I was like, "Oh, right, your family all together. Let me take your family portraits." I have a zoom lens on my camera, so I don't need to get near anybody. On the way home, I live in a lovely street in Castlefields where I have lots of friends and neighbours. It was a sunny day, so people were out on their doorsteps. So I stopped and chatted, and knowing, again, that these are photographs people would want to look back on, I asked if I could take their portraits. And then I did post on my Facebook page. I sometimes worry that I don't have a professional enough veneer on my photography page. But if you work with me, or if I work with you, then that's still how I am. I'm quite an open person, heart on my sleeve, and so I figure I'm just going to be who I am on my page, my business page, as much as anything else. So I was open about it, struggling with being locked down and everything, and I shared the photographs, and then Katie shared them on my Shrewsbury, and then it all kind of went a bit nuts.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, weren't we? I was saying to you about the biscuit and how I tend to operate things sometimes. I mean, I'm quite open about it as well. I mean, are you still there?
I had Katie Rink trying to phone me.
Bless her.
Today.
I'm sorry, Katie. You're gonna have to wait your turn, I'm afraid. I'm very open about my anxiety and the way I work things, and with the biscuit, I kind of do like 3 weeks solid work, make things, create things, and then a week of just panic because I'll just put so much together, and then the last week I'll just be like, I don't want to do this. This is hard. There's so much going on, and it's because I've put so much positive work in the background in the weeks before, and now there's so much coming on to me in the last week, and it gets a bit overwhelming sometimes.
I do that. I kind of go hell for leather and do everything, do it all. I want to do it all, and then suddenly it's like, oh God. But I get very passionate about what I do. I love the photography, and because it did take off so quick, I realised it was also an opportunity to do some good with it as well. Yeah. Initially, I was getting lots of people asking me if I would do it. And I didn't want to charge for it because it doesn't feel like it didn't feel appropriate. No, quite simply.
Well, there's a lot of people struggling, isn't there? There's a lot of people struggling not in work at the moment. But I think with you, I'm building blocks up now about understanding you is like about the empathy and about how important it is, to display what's going on right now, because people are going to be talking about this for decades, right? And so like showing how Shrewsbury came together, how they all linked arms and well, not literally, social distancing, folks, but metaphorically speaking, again, that's the kind of image I'm getting of you. You did this for the good,
Yeah, photography is quite often still a luxury item. It's a luxury product. I didn't set out to record history as it has come back to me. I just love taking photographs. I'm a very peoply person, and what I was getting feedback was how much these photographs mean. So the people, there's people. One family daughter lives here in Castlefield. She's pregnant. She can't share the joy of it the same she would be with her parents. So I took her photograph, and then I cycled across to the other side of Shrewsbury and took her parents' photographs. So now they can, have Connect. Pictures of each other and feel a little bit connected.
That's nice.
And then the food bank is a charity that I like to support as often as possible when I can. 17 years ago, when I was first a single parent, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and we were on the vulnerable list at the time because I'd had very severe postnatal depression, and I'd been put on that list. And I came home at Christmas. It was dark, it was raining, and I had a food parcel on my doorstep from the Bernardos, who've now become the Shrewsbury Food Bank. And I've never forgotten that. I cried my eyes out. There was a tin of Spam in there. I don't think we meant the Spam, but I just remember feeling how nice it felt to not be alone, that there was somebody out there that cared, and then to have this food parcel. So I've never forgotten that, and I've always felt very strongly about it's my religion, if you like, pay it forward. So if you have good fortune paid to you, then you pay it forward to somebody else. And it doesn't have to be like a grand gesture or anything. It can be holding the door open for somebody. It can be giving somebody a smile or buying a coffee. And if you can manage the grand gestures, fantastic. But it's not about that.
That's
So,
beautiful. I love that so much because it is true, isn't it? You know, people forget that even the most successful people in the world struggle. You know, and have had to ask for help. You know, so it's important that we all do that. We all, offer help for people in times of need, and that's really nice that the food bank. I mean, they helped you, so you helped them. I mean, my wife picked up something from. It was a helmet for Timmy because he was learning to ride his bike. It was really cute. So she picked up this cute duck helmet. And at the moment, we're in a very weird situation. We're not homeless. We're not like we've got a roof over our heads, but we're technically homeless because we're in between properties. And in between properties, COVID-19 hit up and they couldn't finish the bits they needed for us to move into our new place, right? So we're in a really weird, odd situation, house limbo, right? My wife was explaining this to the lady she was buying the helmet off. And when she picked up the helmet, she'd had a whip around with, told some of her friends about what we were going through. And there's like a bag of like books and toys and stuff for Timmy. And I was just like, that's beautiful. And it nearly made my wife cry. I was like, that's just amazing. Like books for him to learn maths and stuff beautiful. It's really nice.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing is that the media does give us so much of all the awful stuff that's going on, and how cruel people can be and how unkind people can be. But generally, actually, people are really good. People are kind, and it can be easy to forget that. So, it's actually quite a beautiful there. That's how I try thinking anyway.
But that's what drew me to want to get you on. I mean, I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while since we were speaking about your exhibition in the Shrewsbury Coffee House. We were talking about that.
Ladies are grey.
Yeah, ladies are grey. We'll talk about that in a sec. We'll because it was the positive press from what you did. We're talking about the press have been quite irresponsible at the moment. There's lots of negative going on, but yet the Sun decided to take your pictures and do something positive, and that had Shrewsbury's name on it, and I loved that. That was amazing.
Thanks. I didn't read.
But
I'm not very good at compliments.
No, I'm not good at compliments either. Someone's like, "Oh, your show's amazing." I'm like, "Cheers, buddy." That's what drew me to it, though. Is I was like, "Wow, finally some negativity." No, let's try it again. Finally, some positivity. I mean, we've always got negativity when it's the press. And it was Shrewsbury, and you illustrated the town in a great way. So that's fantastic. Now, the Ladies in Grey exhibition. What was the idea behind that?
Before Christmas, I'd been out with my mom, and we had a mother-daughter day, and I managed to persuade her to come into the studio for me. And I managed to persuade her to put on this white dress and let me take her portrait. Again, it's this thing, I don't have many photographs of my dad. I wanted to have a nice photograph of my mom to remember her by, not to be morbid, but photographs are really important. Yes. So because I've got a studio now, and I'm self-taught, and it just seemed nice. I wanted to take my mother's portrait, and she was wearing this white dress, and they came out beautiful. And I just thought, you know what? Because I noticed how grey and white her hair had become, and I just thought that's something that needs celebrating as well. I like to use my photography for positive things as much as possible. So I did a body positivity shoot last year with some teenagers. I've done the Ladies of Grey and the doorstep portraits. It's a really powerful tool at times, and I just wanted to celebrate women going grey. It's you chaps, you become silver foxes, don't you?
You do. The thing is, there's something really deep there, though. I mean, it's not like, your hair's gone grey, let's take pictures of it. That's not what you were saying at all. But I'm saying, like, the aspect of embracing the changes that your body goes through when you're becoming older. Like for me, I mean, I've got no hair, right? I have to bick my head because otherwise I've got a hairline the same shape as Europe, right? And it took me a while to embrace that, to be like, okay, I'm bald, that's it. I mean, let's just live it, That was a real, because young guys aren't bald, right? That's just one of the things. So to empower women to embrace that, girl, you're sexy. It doesn't matter if your hair's grey or not. Like, you just flaunt that. Be strong, be who you are, and be proud of what you got. Because yeah.
Helen Mirren looks amazing.
Oh.
She's one of my idols, and Judi Dench. And obviously, I don't yet embrace my grey. I've got red hair that I've dyed red for 20 odd years, but it's because I like being a redhead, and I don't have enough grey yet for it to. But I can't wait to have long grey hair.
Yeah. But my You Suck crew, my other show, they always. One of them was poking fun at my beard because I got like grey in my beard now, and I'm like, "Oh, that's distinguished," I've been there. I've walked this earth, and I've got a bit of experience. That's all it means. Shh, leave me alone. But back in the day, I used to have like a tortoise shell beard. I got a little bit of ginger because I'm Irish, and then bits of grey and dark as well. So yeah, tortoise shell beard. Yeah, who else can say that? Hey, so yeah, you were featured in The Sun, and then you've just come back from the Prince Rupert. Is that right? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah. So Katie Rink from My Shrewsbury, she's written an article because we want to highlight, the humanity, those side of things, and the Prince Rupert's housing all of the Shrewsbury rough sleepers. Has also brought up lots of questions about, if we can do this in lockdown, why can't we do it out of lockdown?
Yeah.
I know it's not quite a complex issue. But yeah, so we went and had a chat and wanted to meet some of the guys, and I wanted to photograph them as who they are, as individuals, not as rough sleepers, not as homeless people, not as homeless men, as individuals who have stories and have things that they like and things that they miss and things that they need. So it was really nice. It was humbling, and I can't deny I get a bit choked up about it because, I'm very lucky where I am and in the position that I'm in. Sorry, I've got all choked up now.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I mean, I remember I went to the football ground a while ago to celebrate Shrewsbury Town, the community, and what they were doing by letting the homeless community use their 4G pitches and just having to run around and play football. Okay, it was a big press day. I turned up, and I was speaking to the one guy, and he was like, yeah, there's just lots of press. There's lots of people taking pictures of us, and we don't want to feel like we're like a commodity, or we're like, oh, look what we're doing, and parading us around in front of the press. And again, like, that choked me up as well, because I was kind of like, he's got a valid point. It's about, oh, look what we're doing. Look at us. We're amazing. Look at the charity we got, and that's not what they're trying to do at all. But that's how they feel, because they don't want to be used as some sort of as a tool for the press, but at the same time there is the humanitarian thing there, that people are actually doing kind things, and it does need to be talked about.
I think for me it's also really important to humanize them, because for a lot of people who are sleeping on the streets, they are dehumanized. They lose their identity, and people walk past them and don't pay any attention. And, I know there's lots of negative sides, and I know, I can't deny it. There are times when I have crossed the streets because I don't know if I'm safe, because sometimes there's drugs and alcohol involved. But, in general, I did it sometime before Christmas. I went out and spent a couple of hours out just chatting, really. And quite often that's all they want. They want to be recognised. They want to be seen. They want somebody to acknowledge their existence and talk to them as a fellow human being. Yes, we are all. And there's a great many of us that are really only a pay packet away from being on the streets ourselves. I'm very lucky. I've never been homeless. I spent maybe 3 or 4 months sofa surfing when I was about 19, but that's as close as I've come. But yeah, it's precarious and it's scary, and
I think
chatting to them today.
I think what's happened in Shrewsbury with the Prince Rupert is something special. I just don't know what it is, man. I mean, I guess it's because we're we're super localized at the moment. Nobody's going out and, excuse me, when we look at the local press, we're not looking at other people's local press to see what's going on in other towns. But it seems to me there's lots of like real positive, I need to swore then, really positive stuff going on in Shrewsbury at the moment. It's just nice. It really is nice. And
lots of businesses have donated clothes and food for the guys in the Prince Rupert, and what Mike and Charlie at the Prince Rupert have done is amazing. It's not, they could be at home. Lots of people said, oh, they're doing it for their business, but let's face it, they could be at home and they're not. I was chatting with Charlie today, and she's at the hotel 24/7, so she's not with her family. She's staying in a room there, and she isn't really ever off duty because she cooks all the meals in the evenings. They don't have a chef there at the moment. It's Charlie doing it all, and Mike is also staying at the hotel, and so it is. It's not about oh, look at us. But I was very concerned that the photographs that I took weren't exploited. It was really important to me that the guys like their photographs as well.
Yeah.
And let you see who they are. There's a great guy called Shaggy, who's a huge Shrewsbury Town fan, always wearing his Shrewsbury Town fan hat. And the guys that I was talking to today, I asked them if there was anything that they needed. And he said, oh, anything to do with Shrewsbury Town Football Club. Any books about it, I'd really like. Another guy would really like some clippers, and another guy would like some books to read. And another one wanted a Haynes manual about a particular motorbike. So I have ordered this Haynes manual for him so that he can have that to read. And I've sorted out some secondhand books, and I've ordered some arts stuff for them. So I'm going to go back and take them these bits and pieces because we're at home and we're bored, and they don't have they've got physical comforts, bed and food and stuff, but they haven't got homely comforts, so they're quite bored too. I think no less deserving than any of us of having things for recreational fun.
And I worry about the fallout from all this, like when everything, air quotations, goes back to normal. I don't think it's ever going to be the same again. I think it's going to be certain changes forever. But it's the when it's time for them to not be there anymore, what we're going to do. And you're right, you bring up the valid point. Why can't we do this all the time? Why can't we?
Yeah, I had a brief chat with Mike and Charlie about that too, and it is something that they are already talking about now, about how they can help these chaps and support them afterwards. They've got the council actually at the hotel and the Ark and their support team, so they're looking to see whether or not that is something that they can do afterwards as well, sort of as a regular thing, having all these people in one place together. I'm hoping that I'm going to have some further chats with the Ark to see if there is something we can do to support these guys, because obviously they're getting fed now and they're getting support. If there isn't something we can do to continue that afterwards.
Yeah.
The Flaxmill have very kindly offered me the dye house for 2 weeks to have an exhibition of the doorstep portraits. I've taken some of these portraits today, and my favourite doorstep photograph, to be honest, is Mike and Charlie and the guys at the front of the Prince Rupert. So I want to put something at the Flaxmill about them, and I don't know, maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, a fund or something. Something could be done. I mean, there's been, sorry, I'm making it all political now.
No.
There's been lots of research done which has demonstrated without doubt that if you support people when they become homeless and take care of them, then, because that's one thing people are always concerned about, isn't it? The cost of things. Their cost on councils and governments and things like that is actually a lot less than if we allow them to be homeless and all the costs of those things. So, police and all that kind of thing. So we're far better off just taking care of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
sorry.
No, that was beautiful. I was just enjoying listening to that. The community, I feel like that's been that's been the main. I mean, like, we got the minority, haven't we? The minority of people that have gone out there. I mean, and not listened to rules and been quite negative through this. But overall, I think making sure people are okay. Like, I mean, Captain Tom, for example. Captain Tom Moore has been one of the voices that have made people just appreciate people's efforts, haven't they? And like, I've seen so many people. I mentioned it on last week's show. My friend Ashley Wilding, he made £100 for the NHS just playing Resident Evil on his PlayStation. Silly little things. And I mean, I felt like doing something for to try and raise money, but my anxiety tells me that I can't do that. There's nothing I could do. What am I going to do? Like,
The thing is, though, I think your radio show already does, your podcast. You were talking with the High Sheriff last week, and you've offered to support them by raising awareness. So I don't think that you're not doing nothing. I think your contribution is just as valid as everybody else's.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We like to give people a voice.
Yeah, it's not always about raising money. It's about, raising awareness. It's about talking, bringing up the conversations. And like you said, there are so many positive things happening in Shrewsbury, and they are the things that we need to be focusing on, because, it's not all bad out there. No. We're having a bad day. It's not a bad life.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. That's brilliant. I mean, there's an example, actually. It's just Mark Fielden, who does Chords Crush Cancer. He's a great guy. He's released a #Together CD. It's lots of independent artists that have released independent music, and they've put it on a CD, and they're using it to try and raise money for the NHS. That's been released today. Make sure you have a look at #Together on Facebook. It's a rainbow flag for the NHS there for you. We'll put a link on our message board. It's amazing examples. And then there's the support Shrewsbury. Have you seen this thing, the virtual marketplace that they're putting together?
I've applied to go on it.
Yeah? Good.
So I think that's a lovely idea.
I think it's brilliant. Get independent artists, photographers, traders. Get everybody in the same place where you can order your goods and the bits that you need, and get them delivered to your door. Keep businesses going. I think it's great. I mean, I really want to get someone in from the Beard or a trader that's taking part in all this, and I want to find out more on the show about that, because it's a local initiative. Showing how great.
Brilliant idea. I mean, I've been trying to support a couple of independent businesses. A big shout out to Tom at the Bull's Head by the station. I've had fantastic Sunday dinners there as a treat. And Laura from the Raven bookshop in the Shrewsbury Market. Every Wednesday I get paperback deliveries from her. So that's amazing. I like that as well. Yeah. So there's lots of people doing. It's finding new ways to work. I will have to find new ways to work soon, because obviously I've not had the studio open and weddings being cancelled. So I am considering, as the government reviews sort of social distancing rules, and I need to know how people feel about it, really. The doorstep portraits have been a huge success, and I've loved doing them. That's coming to an end now, and I've raised over, I think it's £1,100 now for the food bank.
Well done. Well done, you.
That's blown me away. I put a target of £200. But yeah, I like seeing how people are becoming inventive and finding new ways to work, like Seasons doing their cook along things, and obviously there's still the allotment doing their veg, and the market is still open for their food and their fresh produce. So I think it's lovely.
Gin Different as well. I think they're going to start delivering bottles of gin if you want any gin. So I think that there's something going on there.
That's another one, actually. I don't know if you're a beer geek, but for you beer geeks out there, the Tap and Can are doing home deliveries of fantastic beers. I ordered one for my chap the other day. And I even, because we have to social distance now, my chap and I, we don't live together. So I ordered him a box of beer, and then you can order a beer glass as well. So I asked them, I sent them a message, can you write this note for me, please, for my chap? And they stuck it in the beer glass, and then off it went. So so a fantastic range of beers from the Tap and Can.
We'll have to speak to them. I like my beer. We'll have to have a word.
Definitely speak to Rachel and Andy at the Tap and Can. They're a lovely couple that opened a really great bar just before the lockdown. I really hope they make it through.
I'm writing it down. Yeah. I'm writing it down because I like to support local businesses.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's what I do love about Shrewsbury, is that there's lots of local businesses and they are quite the community, trying to support each other. I certainly try my best, whether it's tagging them in something that I've liked or sharing something that they're doing or taking photographs. And that is what Shrewsbury is about. We are a small town, but with a good community, and there's lots of positivity out there. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Nice. Shrewsbury town. Small town, big heart. Yeah.
Small town, big heart.
That was on the Shrewsbury Biscuit first, guys. I've got that one. I'm sorry. You've been an amazing guest, and I love everything you do. And, I've been aware of you for a while because of Instagram and stuff from when we first started, and I'm really glad that people are aware of not just your talents but your heart as well, because you do have an amazing talent, but you also have that give back. I'm trying to think of the words without, there's only so many words you can use to explain someone that's got community at their heart. And that's what you are, and you do great things. So on behalf of everyone from Shrewsbury, I want to say thank you,
Oh, thank you. I feel very lucky in my life, and I've been looked after by other people when I've had tough times. And so I know how it feels to be there. And so every opportunity that I have to help somebody else, then I will take it because I know what it means.
That's beautiful. No, that's great. That's great. I mean, tell people where they can find you. Are you selling vouchers for when things go back to normal? Because I know some people are.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook. That's where I am. Birgitta Zoutman Photography. I thought about changing my name, but I am the only Birgitta Zoutman in the whole of England. So you just have to learn how to spell my name. I've always done these vouchers. And there's not an expiry date on them, so people can get in touch. The doorstep portraits, I am fully booked, I'm afraid, and they are coming to an end because I do still have work of my own that I'm supposed to be doing. But you can still always find the Just Giving page on my Facebook page and donate if you'd like to. Towards the summer, if what I've loved about the portraits is that I've discovered my first love of outside portraiture again. I started off doing street photography as a hobby, and I really enjoy being with people in an environment that isn't the studio. I like my studio work, but if it comes to a point where we're allowed to be out a little bit more in social bubbles, then I'd love to do outdoor family portraiture. I've got a zoom lens. I can be way more than 2 or 3 meters away from you. And I'd love to capture families out and about in the fresh air.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that this has, inspired you again. I love that. I mean, there's been certain things that's happened to me recently it's not been a chore doing podcasts because I love doing what I'm doing. All right. But it's been hard trying to adapt. Okay. It's not been the easiest transition at all. But I mean, I did a podcast last week with a guy called Jerry Rocha, very, very funny comedian. And that one podcast absolutely just filled me with so much joy. I'm full of ambition again. And I just want to we can do this and this, and I can do this. It's nice to have that inspiration. So now that feels, that's nice.
Obviously, lockdown is finished, I will have to come and visit and take your portrait.
Yes.
And as I mentioned before, I think what you're doing is lovely, and I'd like to pay it forward and give you and your family a photo shoot after lockdown.
Oh, that means so much. Thank you
So
so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yes, when we've got Biscuit Studios up and running again, or whatever's going to be happening, we'll get you in the studio and we'll help you. And this is what I want to say as well before we sign off from this is, when things do start trickling back open again and things come back to normal, we're going to make it our absolute mission to try and help local communities, local businesses, and whoever's doing local things. I mean, I've repurposed our Facebook group into a message board so that local businesses, if you've got an event or if you've got, like, say, an exhibition like you do in Birgitta, like things like that, throw it on our message board, because we've got to try and help each other. And we're going to be looking at getting in lots of local businesses and things to try and talk about what they're doing, how they're moving forward, how they're adapting, etc., etc. That's going to be our main focus. You know, it's important, I think.
yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is I'd quite like to support sort of small business communities, and I'm going to I've got to work it out yet, but I would like to come up with a special offer for businesses that have been hit hard. So all of them. And I will have a special offer on to do sort of branding photos, or, you know, providing those photos they need to get back up and running at a special discounted rate, so that we can all get back to where we need to be.
Yeah.
After lockdown.
Well done, you. Well done. Guys, I've got a few websites for you to check out. Make sure you go to www.justgiving.com/songs for our frontline heroes. That's the CD from Mark Field and the hashtag together. And also check out www.supportshrewsbury.co.uk, and that's going to be the virtual marketplace where you can support local businesses. I have lost connection. Oh, she's back. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out before we go? Is there anything you want to add before we finish this?
No, just be kind.
Be kind.
Go to my Facebook page, find my Just Giving page, and let's help get the food bank to more pennies.
Yes, donate to food bank. It's a great. I mean, yeah, I can't personally say why I like the food banks and stuff, but yeah, I do. I appreciate them. And yeah, thank you very, very, very much for coming on. You've been a great guest. Listeners, make sure you check out our website, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to our audio directly from our website. Excuse me, frog in my throat. That website is made by our friends at Web Orchard. We love those guys. If you need a website when you're coming out of your caves, make sure you give them a shout out. And also, I want to say we're doing shared biscuits again in about 2 weeks. So if you are a poet, if you are a musician, and you've suffered from addiction, from mental health issues, or this lockdown has affected you in a certain way, and you've written a poem or a piece of music or a song, and you'd like to come and share it with us on Shared Biscuits, please get in touch. Our email is shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com, and we will definitely have a conversation about getting you on the show. Thank you very much. This has been a great show, and we will catch you next week. Thank you, Birgitta. Thank you.